Welcome back to the Raisina Dialogue 2021. As has been our effort through this dialogue, we have been trying to bring together some of the most influential thinkers, impactful leaders to talk to our audiences. And today I'm joined by His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al-Thani, who's the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Deputy Prime Minister of Qatar. Sheikh Mohammed, welcome to the Raisina Dialogue and Ramadan Kareem.
Thank you very much, Samir, for hosting me today.
So, Sheikh Mohammed, let me start by asking you, how has Qatar responded to the pandemic? You are a global center. Your existence is a manifestation of globalization itself. Now, once you stop travel, once you stop tourism, once businesses slow down, how does a global center like Qatar respond?
Well, definitely, as you know, as a pandemic impacted the whole world, Qatar was, as part of the world, we've been impacted with the pandemic. We made sure that we have the minimum negative impact from this pandemic. For us, the first priority was to making sure that our healthcare system is resilient. And in order to have like enough beds, enough ICU, enough team that can take care of any infected people, in order to ensure the continuity of the services in the entire country. So last year, when the pandemic started, we have made our plans that to make some field hospitals to ensure to accommodate that. Anyone who will be infected can be hospitalized there. We wanted to ensure that there is the maximum care we can provide by our healthcare team to the people. And thanks God, you know, with all what we have seen, Qatar has a result as the minimum fatality rate in the world. And this is due to making sure that we are not overloading our hospital system, our healthcare system, and making sure that we always have a room and we have enough spaces to hospitalize people, and also moving forward by testing in advance and taking random samples from different communities. This is actually remain a challenge until now, but I'm sure that all the countries last year, when they responded to the pandemic, when it was something new, this year has responded differently because they have learned from any of the mistakes that have been committed. What is good about our story that we didn't take like an extreme measure of lockdowns. Yet we made sure that we are taking an extreme measures in social distancing and making the people wearing masks mandatory, having a strict rules for public places, for public gatherings, and this made us, you know, maintaining the number, and also. Those random test samples, it's giving us an opportunity to isolate the people who are infected from the people who are not. We have done some packages to stimulate the economy. Last year, we have started with a package of $20 billion US for like soft loans, some interest-free loans, some of the fees like power, energy fees, etc. It's been waived on the businesses, and also we are reviewing this every 6 months. So whenever there is a need for such a package, we do so. Also, I think one of the important elements that Qatar made its commitment to the world, and for example, as you mentioned, Qatar is, you know, at the center of globalization. When you are talking, like, for example, on Hamad International Airport, remained open for travelers who wants to transit. Qatar Airways has participated very active in repatriation of different citizens from different countries, and also we extended our support, especially on the first days when we had those issues in providing like ventilators, masks, etc. And there was a shortage in the market. Qatar has extended its support to almost more than 50 countries. And we have participated actively in the Gavi initiative for the vaccination, etc. So we try to address it in a 360 view. So addressing the global issue, responding and being a responsible member of international community, being responsible for our own community, making sure that our healthcare system is resilient and our economy can stand on the face of this crisis.
Sheikh Mohammed, how does the pandemic, in your assessment, impact the big event next year in Qatar, the FIFA World Cup? All of us, in India, we are very great fans of sports, of especially football. And next year is a big year. How are you planning to host that event in the wake of this pandemic?
Well, actually, when the pandemic started, everyone expected that 2021, this will be over and we will have all the events will come back to normal. But yet we are still facing some variants from this COVID virus that made it a bit challenging. In Qatar, we from the beginning, we wanted to make sure that even with the pandemic is ongoing, how can we host a successful World Cup with a physical presence so the people can attend and can enjoy the event. And also, I think this is a great opportunity for the world when it will be the first happy event that will take place after this pandemic and isolation. So Qatar is well prepared to demonstrate for the world that we can host such an event and we can have it hopefully in person. And this is our plan actually from the beginning. So since that time, we've been like negotiating and talking to the vaccination providers, how we can make sure that everyone attending the World Cup is vaccinated. So right now there are programs under development to provide vaccination for all the attendees of the World Cup, and we will be able, hopefully, to host it as a COVID-free event by 2022. And we hope that also, globally, the pandemic will start to go down and will start to disappear, hopefully.
Sheikh Mohammed, besides being the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, you are also the Chairman of the Qatar Investment Authority. You make key decisions around where the future of the economy is. You also are Chairman of the Development Fund and you work with communities. Qatar has always bucked the trend. You've always been a little ahead of the curve. Despite being an economy that was built on the old industrial cycles, you have been future thinking in terms of climate change, modern technologies, creating new solutions for the future. How is Qatar and how is the investments and the development fund that you manage reorienting this part of the world to a green economy and a green agenda?
Well, if we are going to look at Qatar main pillars in the economy, one of them or the main one is the LNG. And if you compare the LNG to the other traditional fossil fuel energy source, it is the cleanest among them. So even it's participating in the transition from the coal or from the crude oil to a totally green energy because of the carbon footprint that it produced is the minimum. So this is one of the tools that we are using in making the world a better place for the people and also leading to the objective of the climate change in order to have a resilient economy and a resilient countries against all those factors that are coming out of the climate change. Yet we are doing a lot of other things, participating through, for example, Qatar Fund for Development, in supporting the countries which are in need and they are highly impacted by the climate change, especially the small islands. So, for example, His Highness the Emir has pledged in 2019 $100 million for small islands and small countries that are affected by the climate change. Also in Qatar Investment Authority, we are very much focused on the climate, on the impact investment, as QIA is part of the One Planet initiative as well. So to use the Sovereign Wealth Fund funding from to face the difficulties of the climate change in having an impact investment. And we have demonstrated in several areas, some of our investments, that making sure that it will make those countries able to face to face these challenges. One of the examples, actually, in India, one of the investments that we are very happy about is the investment in one of the power companies that we have bought a stake in that company in order to make sure that these funds will be used for transforming the coal plants to gas plants and hopefully to renewables. So we have made as a commitment with that power company, which is part of Al-Thani group, in order to have it in 2030 a coal-free company. And this was the main purpose of that investment. Another initiative that we are looking at is in Africa. More than 10 countries, we are investing in partnership with one of our partners in Europe in building a new green power plants, all from renewables like wind power or also a solar power. Another one is also through one of the companies that QIA is investing in, is mainly focusing on the renewable, and we are doing some projects in Latin America and in the United States as well. So there is a very big focus, whether it's domestically by building, for example, Qatar is a country that its economy relying a lot on the LNG. Yet we are building a very large solar plants to generate our own power. We have built also one of the largest carbon storage in the region. As well as FIFA World Cup, we believe it will be an opportunity where it will be the first carbon neutral world event in 2022 will be hosted in Doha. So all these commitments are always, at the center of our agenda.
Sheikh Mohammed, I wanted to continue with this conversation, but today morning when you wake up, you read the news about Afghanistan. So I had to, for the benefit of the audience, ask you a question on what is your assessment of what is happening there? Are we closer to resolution, or do we seem to be in a space where resolution never is quite within the grasp of the region?
Well, first of all, I think to put it in the right context, Afghanistan, the war that we are working at, having a deal on and resolve it is a 40 years war. It's not something like, very new, or it's not only about the US and the Allies forces versus the Taliban. Our aim from the beginning, when we started hosting these talks between Taliban and the US, and now between Taliban and the Afghan government, is to really bring peace for Afghanistan as an entire country and to have a sustainable peace. And we knew from the beginning that will be very challenging and we will have a lot of obstacles. So we are prepared for any obstacles that might happen. Honestly, when we looked at the last period after the US signed the agreement with Taliban, we have been through some turbulence between the parties in the negotiations. Right now, it's becoming very challenging because of the announcement of the withdrawal, and the withdrawal due date actually in the agreement is 1st of May, yet we didn't have much progress on the inter-Afghan peace, which is the cornerstone for any peace in the future. We are looking forward to host an event with the United Nations, Turkey and United Nations and Qatar in Istanbul, hopefully in the next 2 weeks, to bring all the Afghan parties in order to push this process forward. But it's still remaining uncertain. We are continuing our discussion with the Taliban and with the Afghan government in order to reach a deal of reduction in violence, at least in order to provide the right environment and the right climate for the negotiations between them. We are not there yet, but hopefully in the coming few days, we can achieve something similar.
So best of luck to you on this particular project. I think two parties, if they are genuinely interested in creating sustainable peace, that is something that must be lauded. And I think that is also in some ways the big question as we move forward in this particular process. On a different note, I know you have a hard stop and I barely have a few minutes left with you. Let me ask you, if I was to pull out a question and ask Sheikh Mohammed, what are the 3, 4, 5 big areas that India and Qatar must work together on in this next decade? Next 10 years, what are the big 5, 4, 3 areas that you are most excited about? How can we develop and deepen our partnership beyond the Doha Forum and the Raisina Dialogue and some investments? What is the large framework that should become our obsession?
Well, I think first of all is that there is a strong foundation for for most of the areas that the two countries have a common goal in. I would start with cooperating on the energy and the power sector, which is going to tick a lot of the boxes. Along with them will be the climate change. Second is the reciprocal investments between the two countries. We have significant Indian investment in Qatar, and Qatar has significant investment in India. And these are something which is ongoing, but yet in Qatar, we have made in the last 3 years actually a lot accelerated progress in that front. The third area I believe which is very important and still not exploited very much is the area of education, where India has a very strong education system, and Qatar also serves as a hub for education in the region with different universities from a different part of the world. I think this is one of the potential area where our leadership, both countries' leadership, are focusing on. And I would put the fourth area is really the trilateral cooperation, where are the areas of common interest between Qatar and India, and we can create a partnership in order to work on those areas to help countries, to support them, for example, in facing the challenges, especially with the expertise that India has in its region or in certain technical sectors, and with Qatar expertise in international development and implementing a global project. I think this will provide a unique opportunity for both of us. And the fifth area I think is very important, which is something also ongoing. India is part of our region. That's what we consider. We have connectivity with India. It's very close and very proximate, and anything that's happening in our region or happening in your region is impacting both countries. So I believe the continuous cooperation and political consultation between the two countries is very important. And Qatar, as a small country, sometimes have different opportunities in demonstrating, using its good offices for mediation, etc. And India, with its presence and its position in its region, also have this power. And I think, leveraging those two powers is very important for the security and the stability of our region.
Sheikh Mohammed, thank you so much for joining us at the Raisina Dialogue. I think your closing vision for our partnership is something which is heartening. It's close to my heart. I think a knowledge partnership based on education and other institutions, energy transitions and climate change, investments in each other's economy, working together in different parts of the world, and of course, maintaining close political consultations is exactly what will define the Arabian Sea community in this particular century, and Qatar and India must be part of that Arabian Sea community. Thank you so much for joining us from all of us at the Raisina Dialogue, and I look forward to receiving you in India next year, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, Samir, for hosting me. It's really a pleasure to be here with you today.